Welcome to Coach on a Couch from Zaleski Sports. I'm Bob Bradovich, being joined by Eau Claire North head coach Coach Sinz. Technically, this is more like coach on a bench. We're not really on a couch, Mike. But for you, year 18 as a head coach, but year one here at Eau Claire North, and even though practice started this week, you did have some summer contact with these guys, which I would imagine as a first-year head coach is huge.
It was really important. Like I've said for the last couple of years now, things have changed so much in high school football. Like when I was in high school, your first day of true football practice was that first week of August. Well, now with unlimited contact days, we get to work with these guys the entire summer if we want to, and we end up practicing twice a week. We went to Prescott for a scrimmage against Prescott Holman. That was middle of July, and then 2 weeks ago here we actually had Baldwin Woodville over for a scrimmage. So, getting to see three scrimmages like that, or three teams that we scrimmaged, it was nice for us to find out a couple things about kids, and still a lot of question marks, obviously, but it is nice to be able to work with them at that time, and then now obviously starting in August, there's still that excitement, but it's not quite how it used to be back in the late 90s, early 2000s, I would say.
This is your fourth stop as a head coach, and I know going from Menominee to North, I know some people kind of like, that's interesting, but there's a logistical component to this as well, and tell me a little bit more about that.
Yeah, I live in Eau Claire. Like the drive from my place to the school is 7 minutes. Not too bad, other than 35 when I was driving back and forth. And I've worked for the Eau Claire School District before. I loved it when I worked there. Obviously, I had a great opportunity at Menominee, and I'm glad I went over there and coached and taught at my old school that I graduated from. But nice to be back in Eau Claire. As you can see, we were talking about before, the facilities here are unbelievable when you look at the stadium here, and then the weight room is overlooking the stadium. It's about as good as it gets, and I've seen a lot of different high schools throughout the state, especially Northwest Wisconsin, and this, I don't know if there's a better setup than what North has right now, and just the time and money and effort they put into this facility here.
This will be year two for this facility. What can something like this do for a program long term?
Yeah, well, I mean, if I'm a high school student, I come out and see this, and I see it packed on a Friday night, and why would I not want to play football here? Right now, 10 through 12, or grades 10 through 12, I think we have 81 kids out, which is a pretty dang good number. When I look at maybe where North was 5 or 10 years ago, and numbers wise, and honestly, Matt McGinnis did a great job getting this thing started and going, and I'm glad he's actually on our staff now too. But no, it's a great facility. I think kids want to play here. I love that it's in like a neighborhood setting, and there's a lot of pride in the north side. I've heard that from the first day I got here in March, whatever it was, March 25th. So just looking forward to it.
You talk about the neighborhood aspect. You got some folks down on that end zone who built a deck so they could when Dave Sparger and I did the games for Zaleski Sports here at this complex last year, they were out there. They were there early, and they kind of had their own little tailgate. They had friends over. It just kind of added to that whole atmosphere, and you need that when you have a program to get that community involvement.
No doubt. It's kind of funny because we'd have our morning practices here, and then we're walking off the field and we're heading up to the weight room, and then there's like three guys sitting up there. Hey, great practice this morning, just messing with us. But it's kind of cool, Now it'll be exciting once we start games on Friday night.
It's a transition year, not just for you as head coach coming to this program, but there were so many key players on last year's team that have moved on. What do you do? What do you say to the guys who are back to say, hey, this is your team now?
Yeah, that's a great question. So, the 2026 season is new. It's a fresh start. It's not 2025. We don't have, the Zach Shipman, Kenton Mondu. Those guys aren't coming back, and the other 20-some seniors. And that was a really good group. I wish we could bring those guys back. But again, it's a new start, a fresh start. And one of our first meetings, we brought up leadership and about, they're not coming back, so we need some of you guys to step up right now. You guys are going to be seniors. Actually, a couple of our guys will be juniors. Really took a big step. So, that's what's great about high school football. And I always remember Tom Bauer, one of my old friends. He was the head coach at Mondovi for years, and he loved high school football because every year is so different, so new. It's just a fresh start for everybody, basically.
Who are some of the guys that you're going to be looking to provide some of that leadership?
Honestly, we have, I think, 21 seniors this year. I'm not going to give any specifics. We're still finding out some things, but I've been really impressed with the senior group. Just getting the word out to kids, get in the weight room, practices at this time, it's just being proactive with everything. We're on the field, getting the warm-up started without the coaches even have to say anything. Like they're rolling. And then again, there's a few juniors that have really taken a nice step leadership-wise from March until August.
Being in the Wisconsin Valley Conference, it's a little different wrinkle because it's not the usual Big River schools that you've been part of for, in your time at both Menominee and Memorial. How much of a learning curve is that for you? I mean, obviously Matt has dealt with that when he was the head coach here, but how much does that change things for you?
Honestly, so the Big Rivers and the Wisconsin Valley have been together for a couple of years now with crossover games. So, this year, our first 3 games are crossover games. So we're at Superior, we have Hudson here, and then we go to River Falls. Well, at Menominee, myself and some of the other coaches, we've played those teams the last how many years. So there is a learning curve, but I wouldn't say it's as much as maybe some other conferences in the state. Like we kind of know what we're going to get with the teams. We've played Marshfield before, and so again, nothing like earth-shattering, I would say.
For you, how would you evaluate a successful season here at North in 2026? What are some of those parameters that you're looking at?
I would say the biggest thing, and again, for not being here in a fresh start, watching all the games from last year, I would say being able to finish ball games would be the biggest thing. And North was 3-6 last year, but when you really break down the film and just look at offense, defense, special teams was huge. They were so dang close to being 5-4, maybe even a 6-3. And our biggest thing with the kids has just been finish everything you do. And again, if we can do that, I think you can see a nice step taken. But again, we have a lot of positions that need to be filled from the vacating seniors too. So we'll see how it all shakes out.
In terms of the style of offense and defense, what can you tell us?
I would say multiple on offense. Again, second day in here. Trying to, we lose a quarterback that played every game last year. We were losing 2 running backs that started. We're losing 4 offensive linemen. So we have a lot of questions to answer. But multiple on offense, I would say. Defensively, mainly an odd front, but we'll go to a even once in a while. But again, we don't want our kids to be confused though and throw so much at them. We want to be able to have our kids play confident, play fast, and defensively get to the football.
You'll have a scrimmage coming up here in a while up at Chippewa Falls. Toma Northwestern will be part of that. What are the biggest things you want to focus on between now and then?
Well, I told our guys we're not going up to try to win a scrimmage. It's not like we get a tally on the win column. If that was the case, it would be a little different preparation. But we want to see our kids play fast, play hard, get after it. If you're going to make a mistake, do it going 100 miles per hour. And again, we'll find out a lot about our team because Chippewa Falls should be unbelievable this year. I remember playing them last year and after the game, shaking hands with them and thinking, oh my God, every kid seemed like they were 6'4", 250. It was unbelievable. And then the next week they go down and almost beat Waunakee. Probably should have beat Waunakee, in an 8-1 game. And then Northwestern was a state runner-up. So we'll find out a lot about our kids, but we want them to play confident, play fast, and obviously like in a scrimmage or something like that, you hope you come out injury-free too.
And you touched on it before you open up the season at Superior. That'll be here before you know it. So what are the biggest priorities for you and the staff?
Yeah, it's funny you say that because our first day, I told the kids we're 16 days away from a game. Like that's going to fly by. But it is so hard to prepare for a week 1 game because you really don't know what the other team. You can hear different things, but you don't know what the other team does until you see their scrimmage film to see are they doing the same thing on offense? Did they change everything up? Defensively, are they playing a 3-4, 4-3, whatever it might be? So, again, we want to make sure that we're taking care of ourselves first. Like, don't get me wrong, we have to see what Superior does once we get their film, but we have to worry about ourselves first, and we got enough to worry about here.
Last question is going to be about coaching philosophy. How much did you take from one? You played for Joe Labuda over at Menominee, legendary Hall of Fame coach, and then Todd Hoffner at UW Eau Claire, who came about it in much different ways, but both had a heck of a lot of success.
Big time, yeah. It's funny. We were just talking about that. Like, Coach Labuda and Coach Hoffner are definitely 2 different types of coaches. I'll just say that. Coach Labuda, energetic, very just like I'm not gonna say old school, but just he's a go-getter, and Coach Hoffner was very quiet, and he didn't say much, but I'll tell you, he had a great football mind, just like Coach Labuda did. And they're just 2 different ways to attack. It kind of shows that you can win with whatever coaching style that you want to have, and just like we talked about before, you just got to be yourself and try not to be somebody that you're not.
Mike, best of luck to you and the Huskies this season. We're looking forward to covering some of your games.
I appreciate it. Thank you for having me.
All right. Coach Mike Sinz, Eau Claire North Huskies. You've been watching Zaleski Sports Coach on a Couch.